Hey guys, just before we get to today's clip, just a quick reminder for all Serie A fans in the UK and Ireland, you can now stream every single match live on OneFootball. No matter which team you're backing, OneFootball's got you covered. You can watch on via the OneFootball app on your phone or connected TVs from Apple TV, Google TV, Samsung, LG, and Fire TV, or on the website tv.onefootball. And what's even better is that you can choose how you watch it. You can grab a team or a season pass to watch all the matches until the end of the season, or just the ones from your favourite club. There's also a match day pass for £9.99 to watch all the weekend's games, or a single match on pay-per-view for £4.99. And yeah, if you missed a live game, you'll still get access to all the match highlights too. So if Serie A is your thing, OneFootball is where it's at. We'll have a link in the description of the episode for you to buy your preferred stream.
Welcome to the Italian Football Podcast.
Right, last question. Mike Rosanova says, do you guys think Milan have so many individualistic players that it's actually hurting Santiago Gimenez's chances of fitting in? Honestly, he's starting to remind me a lot of Morata. Decent player, but just not really clicking. I'm also starting to wonder if he might end up being a flop. Kind of feels like he's going down the same road as Vlahovic. Both killed it at smaller clubs, then made that big jump to teams like Juve and Milan, and both clubs are a bit of a mess behind the scenes, let's be real. After watching him struggle in the Champions League against his old team and then miss that penalty versus Napoli, my hopes definitely fading. What do you guys think? Is it too early to be worried? Grazie mille. What do you think, Carlo?
What, Santi
the
Gimenez?
Santiago?
Well,
Yeah.
I have to say, I was asked about his signing when they signed him, and I said that, with a caveat, I said that I haven't seen loads of him. I hadn't seen enough of him to really have a proper, confident opinion on how well he'd done at Milan. But I said that what I had seen of him, mainly in Europe, because I don't really watch the Eredivisie all the time, what I had seen of him in Europe, I wasn't really massively convinced of him coming and being a huge success. Then he started pretty well, and but yeah, he's been really poor recently. Touch is quite poor sometimes, very strange. But yeah, I'm a little bit concerned. Yeah, a little bit concerned. It's difficult when you sign
I'm
players
not.
from the
Yeah.
Eredivisie because it's really there's no way to judge players based on the Eredivisie because the league is just so sadly it's not what it was. It's so way off what it
No.
was in the past that it's difficult to know how these players are going to do in a bigger league.
And by saying that it's not what it once was, let's remember that what Carlo and I are referring to, when we grew up, Romario and Ronaldo, Brazilian Ronaldo, played in the Eredivisie. Like, just to give people some.
Oh yeah, when we grew up,
Ajax
Ajax were the best team in Europe for a while when we were growing up in
Yeah,
the mid.
exactly. When we grew up, like
Yeah.
like they were unbeaten under Van Gaal for 2 years, almost, and they won the Champions League. Like, just to give people some perspective, when we talk about that the Eredivisie has fallen off and we don't respect it as much as we used to, we remember
They're
an
not
Ajax side
farmers.
that
They're
won the
not
Champions League.
farmers. Yeah, they're not farmers as the younger generation, like some of the younger generation refer to
Yeah.
Ajax as.
Yeah. I mean, we also were talking about Romario before he went to Barcelona, Ronaldo before he went to Barcelona. They played in Holland, in the Netherlands, in the Eredivisie.
I
So
do think he.
that's what we're comparing.
I do think he has natural. He's a natural finisher, and he does have natural ability. He has a lovely left foot. He has technical qualities there. I'm not writing him off. I'm just saying that, yeah, it's not going well at the moment. But then who is it going well for at Milan? It's you know what I mean? I don't want to say, I don't want to write him off or say anything either way. It's just it's just been a very difficult start for him.
Look, to build on what Mike said, do Milan have so many individualistic players that it's actually hurting Santiago Gimenez's chances of fitting in? I think that is the thing here. Milan aren't a team, and they haven't been a team all season. They're individuals. Go and look at that goal that Politano scored. People want to make fun of Pavlovic for it, but Theo Hernandez stops running. It's not, it's because if you're a team, you know who's doing what, who's dropping, who's taking care of the player in the center in Lukaku, who's making that run. They're not a team. They don't act as a team. They act as individuals off of vibes. There's no structure there, defensively, offensively. And I don't think it's not whether it's hurting Gimenez as per se, it's hurting all of Milan, because when he does throw the kitchen sink on, there's so much firepower up front that and the quality is actually decent. So that's why they create and look so good when they throw the kitchen sink forward, because everyone is trying to get an equalizer or a winner, right? So the issue is structural, yes, more than qualitative, in my opinion. I don't think Milan's players are that bad. I think there are players that shouldn't be at Milan, of course. But I don't think it's more of a qualitative issue. I think it's a structural issue. And the structural issue on the pitch, off the pitch, we have spoken about a bajillion times. The fact that they bought Morata and Emerson Royal and then they wanted to get rid of them in January and got rid of one. I mean, it's just, that's not how you run a club. Like buying and selling players like they're library books, borrowing them for a couple of months. Like that's not a serious project. And they are a bit of a mess. So for me, Santiago Gimenez, I mean, I think he's a decent player. I know he's been linked to Milan for quite a bit. I don't want to say too much because I don't really judge anyone at Milan right now because I don't know who's going to be there, what the plan is moving forward. Milan need a serious project. If they bring in Roberto De Zerbi, they have to give him at least a season. I don't care if Champions League is in the risk zone. Okay? You have to give him a full season. Then if he flops and he finishes 8th or 7th, fine, get rid of him. But you need to give them a full season. You need to give them a serious project. Otherwise, what's the point? This is just going to continue. And we've had lots of Milan fans tell us that they don't even watch Milan's games anymore. They've zoned out until August. Many Milan fans have told me that, and I've seen online. They don't care anymore. And who can blame them? What is there to care about when you've got this much of a mess going on? What?
Just tonight. Just the Coppa Italia against Inter.
Well, yeah, it's just the Coppa Italia. And it's like, even if they win that, yes, it looks good that you've won 2 trophies, but it's been a shit hell of a season. It's been an absolute shit show. And the Coppa Italia and Supercoppa doesn't mask that fact. And it can't mask that fact. It's good for Conceição because he'll be there for 7-8 months. They got 2 trophies. It'll look good on his CV when he's looking for new jobs. But other than that, and it's good for Milan because, it's still 2 trophies. It's Milan. But overall, I mean, we're in early April, and you look at how Milan played in that first, like, it just looks like they've clocked out. They don't care anymore. To me, that's unacceptable. Like, it's Milan, for crying out loud. Milan should be fighting for the Scudetto. They should at least be in the quarterfinal of the Champions League. They got knocked out at the first hurdle in the Champions League after fluffing the chance to finish top 8 and being automatically receiving a bye to the round of last 16. And in the league, they've not once been in contention this season in the Serie A for a Scudetto race. That's just not good enough. That is simply just not good enough. So, and then you have everything else that's going on and all the stupid comments that Jerry Cardinale has made and the own goals, and then Zlatan going around doing his things and being humiliated by Zvonimir Boban week in, week out, and other Milan legends who wonder who are used to Milan being the creme de la creme of world football, and they see this clown show and they wonder what the hell's going on. It's just not good enough. So I think the problem at Milan is a structural level in terms of the squad. There is no structure, and it doesn't seem to be very much structure either at the top of the club either, if we're perfectly honest. And I think those kind of things mirror each other, to be honest. I think with Paratici, you don't have that. With regardless of if it's Conte or De Zerbi, you will see patterns of play. You will see structure. The question is it good enough with De Zerbi? Do you have the patience enough? I think if they're going for this project of playing this kind of progressive football, if they're going with a young project, they want to develop young players, I absolutely think they should go with De Zerbi, but they should absolutely give him time. Don't burn him. Don't bring De Zerbi in and then sack him like Fonseca after a couple of months. That's just stupid. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. And while we speak, just to conclude we're recording on Wednesday afternoon. It seems that Paratici has come to an agreement with Milan verbally to become their new sporting director. So it looks like he is going to be the new sporting director of Milan.
I think that's a good thing. I think the fact that they're getting this done in April will give him a chance to prepare properly to take over and who to appoint after Conceição, and to start the market early. I think this is good news for Milan.
That's the only
Very good
positive
news
about Milan's season being over already now, is that they can actually start preparing for next season now. They can. Whereas sometimes, often you can't until the end of the season, until you know where you're going to finish. And that's a problem that Giuntoli had last season with Juventus, that he couldn't do any really proper preparation in terms of buying players, really, until he knew Juventus was going to be in the Champions League. And that wasn't until kind of into May. So it's, that's one advantage that Milan have.